The Legend of Zelda is arguably the greatest video game franchise of all time, critics around the internet giving near-perfect ratings to every new installment. Now, this raises the question, why is the Legend of Zelda series so good? Is it the entertaining gameplay, the intriguing stories, or maybe the beloved characters? Well, yes, it is all three of those. One of the more iconic aspects of the Legend of Zelda franchise is the phenomenal soundtracks, ranging from the gentle sounds of Kakariko Village to the epic battles against the hero's mightiest foes. These soundtracks truly have it all. With every new journey for the goddess's chosen hero comes a brand new soundtrack to help immerse the player into the land of Hyrule, or Termina, or Labrina, or the Great Sea, or Lorule, or the Dark World, or Koland Island. Pretty much anywhere that the game takes place. A franchise with such a perfect grouping of songs. Picking a favorite must be near impossible, right? Yes. Yes it is. And in today's video I have done just that, picking my personal favorite track from every single mainline Zelda game and putting it on a list from worst to best. This ranking was so difficult to do, since every single Zelda game has such a phenomenal soundtrack, but I tried my best. I know I said I was covering every single game, but I did decide to leave out a few of them. Either the soundtracks are literally identical and just reworked, or don't count them towards the main Zelda games. Those games being all of the remakes, since they're almost always the exact same game, which means the same soundtrack, and oftentimes the soundtrack is just like renewed, remastered, you know what I mean. Any Hyrule Warriors game, and even the fan favorite, Link's crossbow training. I know, I'm sorry. You can put your pitchforks down now. You done? Leaving 20 soundtracks left for me to choose from, and as I've just mentioned, this list contains one song from each game, that song being my personal favorite. I also made sure no songs were on the list twice. For example, Lorule and the Dark World Overworld theme are basically the same, so I would only include the better of the two. The order of this list is honestly quite interchangeable, since I think every single song on here is incredible. I based my rankings both on how important the song is to the game or the series, as well as my personal opinion and connection to each song. Now with that being said, let's get on with the list. The very first Four Swords finds itself at the very bottom of the list. I've honestly never played this game before, so I just listened to the soundtrack and picked whatever song sounded the coolest. For some reason the songs don't have actual names and are just called Four Swords BGM, which I think stands for background music, I'm not sure. The standout track being number 8. Not much to say. It sounds kinda cool, I guess. Nothing too special, so it gets the unfortunate gift of being placed at the very bottom. Triforce Heroes with its song Woodlands. Really nothing else to say. This game is... It's a game, but this song is pretty funky and I actually do like it a lot. Next up we have Oracle of Ages, and the best song from this game is this one, maybe? Okay, confession. There are 4 main Zelda games that I've never played, technically 6 including the multiplayer games, 2 of them being both Oracle games. I know, be as mad as you want, I've just never gotten around to playing the games, though it is on my list, it just hasn't happened yet. Judging from the soundtrack though, Nehru's song was kinda cool. It feels really Game Boy-y, if that makes any sense. Though it is quite repetitive and honestly is kinda giving me a headache, so we're just gonna move on. Okay, never mind. The headache is back. I actually can't stand to listen to any more Game Boy audio, so next up is Tarmarunes. It sounds nice, I like it. Okay, that's enough. Next. The Hyrule Field theme has seen many different variants throughout the course of the series, from Ocarina of Time's iconic take, or Twilight Princess's epic version of the theme. Surprisingly, the Four Swords Adventures version of the Hyrule Overworld theme is really good. As mentioned before, I've actually never played this game, but the soundtrack is actually quite great, though really similar to A Link to the Past soundtrack. No emotional attachment to this song whatsoever, so we'll move on. A great take on the iconic song. Now we're getting into the really good soundtracks. OSTs that have multiple contenders for being the best of the bunch. One of my favorite soundtracks in general is the Minish Cap, an incredibly underrated game as well. My first playthrough of this game came only a few months ago, so the soundtrack is fresh on my mind. A few songs that stuck with me were the Hyrule Field theme, Castor Wilds, Hyrule Town, and the Minish Woods. It's honestly neck and neck for my pick between the Temple of the Droplets or the Minish Village. But my pick for the best song in this game is Temple of Droplets. I know many may not love this dungeon, but you can't lie. This theme is incredibly fitting. The icy cavern atmosphere of the dungeon is complemented perfectly by this song. The light dings of what might be a xylophone, I'm not sure though, along with the loop of a sleigh bell in the background makes for a perfect fit. One of the more underappreciated themes in the series. And the Minish Village theme definitely deserves a huge shout out as well because I love that one just as much. Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link is the most hated game in the franchise by far, changing the beloved top-down 2D of the original game to instead be a side-scroller RPG type game. Along with the major change, this game is hard as shit. But as shitty as this game might be, we mustn't lie to ourselves. The temple theme bangs. Like, really bangs. Maybe more well known by the version from Smash Bros, this epic theme helps add some sort of motivation to this unforgiving game. And it really goes to show how even if Nintendo messes up a game, the soundtrack will always go hard. Yet another Zelda game I have yet to play. Phantom Hourglass is one of 2 titles released on the DS, both of which I have not played. But despite not coming around to playing the game, the pick for the best song was a no-brainer. Linebeck's theme captures who the character is perfectly. And yes, even though I haven't played this game, I'm still very well versed in the lore. A selfish sailor who serves as the game's sidekick character. Try saying that 3 times fast. Just listening to this song makes me want to give Phantom Hourglass a try. If only there was a new way of playing the game. The original Legend of Zelda for the NES gave birth to some of the most iconic recurring songs in the entire franchise, none better than the game's main theme. This song is the most well-known Zelda song ever, as it is the franchise's main theme, playing immediately as you boot up the game during the Star Wars-like lore drop and the title screen. This song captured the heart of millions when it first came out. While it might have been done better in later games, you gotta give props to the OG. One of the most iconic songs in all of gaming and a well-deserved spot on this impossible list. Link's Awakening might have the most depressing plot twist in any Zelda game thus far. Finding out the island and its inhabitants who you've come to love and grow connections with over the course of the game isn't even real is a pretty fucked up ending for a kid's game. The character you grow the closest to is Marin, a girl with big dreams of wanting to leave the island. Marin sings a song that Link later learns, the Ballad of the Windfish. As awesome as this song sounds, it's really quite depressing. After playing this song at the Windfish Egg using all the instruments you've collected throughout your journey, there's no turning back. You either die or defeat the nightmare, ultimately erasing Koland Island from existence, along with all the people. To me, this song sounds very uncertain. Knowing that your next actions will have severe consequences is a very real feeling that Nintendo captured perfectly in this amazing ensemble. Well, those were some pretty depressing topics. Let's change up the mood a little bit. Allow me to paint a picture really quick. It's March 3rd, 2017, the day the new Zelda game comes out. Me, a 12-year-old Zelda superfan, is beyond pumped for this game to come out, as I, along with millions of others, have been waiting for years for this game. Heading to your local Walmart before school to purchase a copy of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild for the Wii U. Yes, I was one of the 3 people to buy a Wii U copy, and apparently it's rare. Arriving home, you play Breath of the Wild for the first time, and wow, what an experience that was. I remember every detail so vividly, making it away from the Great Plateau using your paraglider and continuing on with your journey. I headed towards Zora's Domain, where I met Sidon, whose theme is also worth a mention. After collecting 20 shock arrows from a Lionel, which probably made me piss myself with how intimidating this guy was, you go head to head against the divine beast, Vah Ruta. And holy hell, this music bangs. This song has so much emotional attachment to me, being one of the first songs I actually remember in Breath of the Wild. The fight was so much fun and is a really epic experience. The music is the perfect cherry on top. A very close second is literally all 4 champion themes, as they're all really great, as well as the Sheikah Tower theme, which really gets the nostalgia pumping. It's hard to believe it's been 4 years since this game came out. Wait, it's been 7? How the hell am I feeling old already? A Link to the Past was the debut for many recurring songs in the franchise, notable ones including Zelda's Lullaby, the Fairy Fountain theme, and my pick for the best song in this game, Ganon's theme. Aura. Enough said. The ominous theme for one of the most menacing villains in all of fiction really didn't disappoint. Used in almost every single game that he's in, Ganon's theme suits him perfectly. But this game has a really great soundtrack in general, with many themes like the Dark World or Kakariko Village. The first Zelda game to introduce a truly iconic soundtrack with multiple songs being reused in later titles due to just how good they are. The final song on this list from a game that I've never played. Spirit Tracks with Realm Overworld. This song bangs. Like, seriously bangs. Though I've actually never played this game, I still have so much emotional attachment to this song, as I used to listen to it all the time when I was younger. This song fits perfectly into the train riding theme of the game. Truly one of the best overworld themes in the entire franchise. This one was a near impossible pick. Majora's Mask has one of my favorite overall soundtracks in any Zelda game. I don't think it has one notably bad song. The pick is super interchangeable, so I'll go over a few runner-ups before. The Great Bay Temple theme, banger. Clock Town, banger. Termina Field, banger. Stone Tower Temple, banger. Song of Healing, banger. And the incredibly underappreciated Oath to Order, banger. But my pick for the best song in this title is the Astral Observatory. Probably one of the most mystical songs in the entire franchise, this theme is one of the first you hear in the entire game. The area that it plays in being the Astral Observatory, one of the coolest locations in the entire game. It truly feels like a place beyond time, a sort of escape from the impending doom and themes of despair scattered throughout Termina. A great song that makes for perfect background noise when doing whatever task, like writing this script. The most underappreciated Zelda game in my opinion is A Link Between Worlds. This game has such a special place in my heart, as it was one of the first Zelda games I ever played and the first one that I bought with my own money. I love this game so much, and a large reason is the phenomenal soundtrack. Many themes being reused from A Link to the Past, but many new ones as well. Some of my favorites being the Swamp Palace, Ravio's theme, and the song I'm sure you thought I would pick, Lorule Castle. And while I believe Lorule Castle and the song I picked are on the same level, I do like the Lorule Overworld theme a little bit more. I mean, come on, listen to that intro. The reason I didn't pick the Dark World for A Link to the Past was because I thought A Link Between Worlds did it way better. You hear this song a ton throughout the game, as the travel between Hyrule and Lorule is necessary to progress throughout the game. An iconic song from one of my favorite games in the entire franchise. One of the most beloved games in the entire series is Wind Waker, the bright, colorful atmosphere and unique overworld which has the player sailing the Great Sea from island to island. With such an adventurous game, it's no wonder the soundtrack is so good. Another game that has a few I would have picked, like Mulgara's theme, the Great Sea, Windfall Island, the title theme, but I think the best song from this game is a pretty obvious one. Despite the amount of bangers in this OST, Dragon Rouge Island is the first island you visit during your journey as the Hero of Winds. Well, besides Forsaken Fortress, but I try to block that one out of my memory. And boy, do they start you off with a banger. For lack of better words, this song is Wind Waker. This song is so fire, it's insane. The fast-paced yet adventurous tempo is incredibly fitting. They even decided to reuse this theme in later games, like in Colgara's theme from Tears of the Kingdom. Holy hell. Talk about a boss theme. As I've just mentioned, this song makes a direct reference to Dragon Rouge Island's theme, so it's no wonder it's so good. This callback hits the feels hard when you're a long-term Zelda fan. One of the more cinematic Zelda boss experiences, and the music is a huge factor in why. Fighting the Scourge of the Wind Temple while flying in the sky was one of the most amazing video game experiences I've ever had. This song also changes and grows more epic as you enter new phases in the boss fight. Easily the best boss theme in the series and one of the most epic themes in the entire franchise. Though this game does have a great soundtrack, with notable songs like Shrine, Cave, the main theme, or even that one trailer theme, which I would hardly count towards the game. I think this game's pick is pretty obvious though. Despite how hard every single soundtrack has been for me to pick a number one, I struggled the most with Twilight Princess. There are so many great songs to choose from. Just a few notable ones include Snow Peak Ruins, City in the Sky, Hyrule Field, Ordon Ranch, Faron Woods, Lake Hylia, Twilight, Hyrule Castle, Hidden Village, Sacred Grove, Blizzetta, Midna's Lament, and the title theme, just to name a few. This soundtrack bangs. Like, seriously, any of these could have been my pick. But I decided to go with the theme for one of the best characters in the entire franchise, Midna. My main reason for picking Midna's theme is because it appears in so many other themes as well, like in Midna's Lament or the title theme. This song perfectly captures who she is as a character, and is honestly what I consider to be the main theme of the game itself. Ocarina of Time is considered to many as the greatest game ever created. Almost every single aspect about this game is flawless, perhaps none more iconic than the soundtrack. Every single song on this track list is iconic, with songs like Kokiri Forest, The Lost Woods, and Fairy Fountain recently picking up popularity across the internet. But as great as this soundtrack is, my pick for this game is a no-brainer. My favorite recurring song throughout the entire franchise is the theme of our Princess of Hyrule, Zelda, with her theme, Zelda's Lullaby. This song is so good, so simple yet iconic. As previously mentioned, this song has been used in almost every single game in the entire franchise, and I'm really glad it was. This song holds such a close connection to my childhood and feels so nostalgic whenever I listen to it. I honestly think this song deserves to be number one, and it pains me that I couldn't put it there. Wait a minute, this is my list. I can do whatever I want. I'm sure that you're capable of figuring out the game I haven't talked about yet, that game being one of the more recent titles in the series, Skyward Sword. While this game isn't exactly loved by everyone, the reason behind that is definitely not the soundtrack. This soundtrack is phenomenal. Between this game, Ocarina of Time, and Twilight Princess, the pick for the best overall soundtrack is nearly impossible to make. Before mentioning my favorite song in the entire franchise, I'll go over a few honorable mentions from Skyward Sword first. Skyloft, banger. The Sky, banger. Feast Farewell, depressing as shit, but banger. Groove's theme, banger, and goated character as well. Ancient Cistern, banger. Lene Reminding Facility, banger. Earth Temple, super banger. And the Bamboo Island, ultra banger. Now, my pick for the best and my personal favorite song in the entire Legend of Zelda franchise is Zelda's Lullaby from Skyward Sword. I know I said I couldn't pick the same song multiple times, but I literally cannot help myself. Okay, fine, I'll pick another song. Wait a minute. What if I took that amazing and iconic lullaby and changed it somehow to have a completely different vibe? Wait a minute.
I've got an idea!
What if Zelda's Lullaby was in reverse? Hey, that doesn't sound too bad. Now for my actual favorite song in the Legend of Zelda franchise, Skyward Sword's main theme, the Ballad of the Goddess. Taking the already loved Zelda's Lullaby and reversing the main melody is genius. I have no clue how this possibly works, but it does. This song is The Legend of Zelda. I honestly think it should be the franchise's main theme. This track is epic as hell. Everything that The Legend of Zelda as a franchise tries to capture is all found within this song. I absolutely love this track, and regardless of your feelings towards the game, you have to admit this is a work of art. As great as every Legend of Zelda song is, this song has always been my undisputed number one. Being a remix of my favorite recurring song in the franchise, Skyward Sword's Ballad of the Goddess is the best song in the entire Legend of Zelda series. Well, there's my list, ranking every single Legend of Zelda game's best song from worst to best. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate each and every view. As always, if you disagree or have something you want to say about my list, be sure to leave a comment. I'll try my best to respond to each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for all the support you're giving me on my channel this early on. Like, seriously, you guys are amazing. I hope you all have an amazing day or night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.